Have you ever wondered why some people can remain unshaken amidst life's most turbulent storms, while others are easily overwhelmed by even the smallest challenges? What if you could navigate every situation with a calm, unyielding strength? Imagine a life where, no matter what comes your way, you're able to face it with a serene and focused mind. In a world filled with endless distractions, the ability to cultivate a calm and centered mind is one of the most valuable skills you can develop. Today, we will embark on a transformative journey, exploring timeless Buddhist teachings that offer practical wisdom for achieving inner peace and strength. By learning to quiet the mind and focus on the present, we can unlock the potential to live a more powerful, purposeful, and fulfilling life. Let's dive deep into the principles of mindfulness, meditation, detachment, and compassion to discover how these ancient practices can guide us to a life filled with clarity and peace. When we speak of the mind, the first thing to understand is that it is not merely a tool for thinking or decision-making. The mind is like a lake. When the water is calm, it reflects everything around it with clarity
and precisión.
However, when winds blow and the water ripples, the reflections become distorted and unclear. Our minds function in much the same way. When our minds are calm, we can see the truth and make wise decisions. However, when disturbed by emotions such as anxiety, fear, anger, or desire, our judgment becomes clouded, leading to inner turmoil. Buddhism views the mind as the center of all experiences. The Buddha once said, "All phenomena arise from the mind." This means that all feelings, thoughts, and even our perceptions of the world stem from our minds. If we can understand and master our minds, we can better control our lives. This is the foundation of Buddhist teachings, the recognition that the mind is the source of both suffering and happiness. One of the essential aspects emphasized in Buddhism is the concept of impermanence. Our minds never remain still but constantly change from moment to moment. This means that our thoughts and emotions are always in a state of flux. When we understand that everything is temporary, we can let go of negative emotions like sadness or worry. For example, when you feel anger, instead of letting it dictate your actions, remember that it is just a temporary state of mind, and it will pass if you do not cling to it. The Buddha taught that observing the mind calmly, without attachment, is the key to liberation. However, in the modern world filled with pressure and stress, it is often difficult for us to keep our minds at peace. External factors such as work, family, and social relationships constantly pull us into a whirlwind of anxiety and tension. Our minds become like a boat tossed about by waves on a stormy sea. But if we learn how to calm our minds, we can steer the course of our lives in the direction we desire. To achieve tranquility of mind, the first step is to recognize the factors that disturb it. Buddhism teaches that there are three main toxins that create instability in our minds: desire, anger, and ignorance. Desire is the endless craving for things we want, from material wealth and power to recognition and control. Anger is the negative emotion we feel when things do not go our way. Ignorance is the lack of understanding of the true nature of life and the mind. Only when we understand these factors can we begin the journey to free ourselves from the suffering our minds create. Let's consider a simple analogy. Imagine standing in front of a mirror. If the mirror is clean, you will see your reflection clearly. But if the mirror is covered in dust or fogged up, the reflection becomes distorted. Our minds are like that mirror. If we let desire, anger, and ignorance cling to our minds, we will not see the true nature of life. On the other hand, if we can keep our minds calm and clear, we will perceive everything with clarity and understanding. A famous Buddhist story illustrates this concept. One day, a scholar visited a Zen master to learn about the Dharma. The master quietly poured tea into the scholar's cup. When the cup was full, he continued pouring, causing the tea to overflow. The scholar exclaimed, "The cup is full. "No more will fit," the master responded. "Like this cup, your mind is full of opinions, thoughts, and preconceptions. How can I teach you anything unless you first empty it?" This story shows that keeping our minds open and ready to receive new insights is crucial for achieving inner peace. Calming the mind does not mean eliminating all thoughts or emotions, but learning to observe them with detachment. When we can master our minds, we are no longer swept away by negative emotions. Instead, we can maintain composure and clarity in any situation. The Buddha taught that the mind is like a monkey constantly jumping from branch to branch. If we do not learn to control it, it will lead to a chaotic and disorderly life. But how can we truly calm the mind? This cannot be achieved through theory alone. It requires patient and consistent practice. By practicing meditation and mindfulness, we can gradually quiet the mind, allowing it to become clear like a calm lake. Only then can we see the true essence of life and attain inner peace. In Buddhism, mindfulness is not merely a practice but a way of life, a path to spiritual freedom and sustainable happiness. To truly understand it, mindfulness means living in each moment with full awareness and presence, without judgment, and without letting the mind wander into the past or future. Mindfulness enables us to see life clearly and make conscious choices, free from the clouds of negative emotions and thoughts. When we live mindfully, we focus entirely on what is happening around us. A simple example is eating. Instead of letting your mind drift to work tasks, plans, or worries, you focus solely on the flavors, textures, and aroma of your food. This helps you truly experience and enjoy each moment, rather than rushing through life distracted and unfocused. Mindful eating also encourages healthier habits, helping us avoid overeating or eating without intention. Mindfulness, however, is not limited to everyday activities like eating. It can also help us face difficult emotions. When we feel anxious, angry, or sad, our natural reaction is often to push these emotions away. But in reality, suppressing them only makes them stronger. Mindfulness teaches us how to sit quietly and observe our emotions gently, like an objective observer, without judgment. When we can perceive our emotions like clouds passing across the sky, we are no longer controlled by them. For example, imagine you are feeling anxious about an important meeting. Instead of letting that anxiety dominate your thoughts, you can practice mindfulness by pausing, focusing on your breath, and acknowledging that the anxiety is just a passing emotion. You do not need to fight it. Simply recognize its presence and allow it to pass naturally. In this way, mindfulness helps us free ourselves from unnecessary stress and anxiety. A well-known story in Buddhism tells of a Zen master living high in the mountains, where he practiced mindfulness every day. One day, while he was meditating, a villager came running up, panicked about an approaching storm. The villager asked the master how to deal with fear. The master simply smiled and said, "Sit down with me and watch your breath. The storm will come and go, but if you do not let your mind be swept away by it, it will not harm you." This story teaches us that mindfulness is not about escaping reality but facing it with calmness. Mindfulness can also be applied to work and daily life to enhance productivity and reduce stress. In today's work environments, where we are constantly pulled in multiple directions by emails, meetings, and deadlines, practicing mindfulness helps us maintain focus and efficiency. Some of the world's leading companies have even integrated mindfulness programs into their work culture to foster a relaxed and productive environment for their employees. A simple way to practice mindfulness is to spend a few minutes each day focusing solely on your breath. Find a quiet space, sit down, and concentrate on each breath in and out. When your mind starts to wander, gently guide it back to your breath. This practice helps you reduce stress, improve concentration, and cultivate inner peace. Mindfulness also improves relationships. When you truly listen to someone without letting your mind be distracted, you create a deeper connection with that person. Being present allows others to feel respected and valued. This not only strengthens relationships but also helps reduce misunderstandings. The journey to inner peace is not always about achieving absolute calm, but about learning to accept and live with whatever is happening. There will be days when you feel tired, stressed, and unmotivated. Instead of forcing yourself to feel better, allow yourself to accept those feelings and continue moving forward. Mindfulness teaches us that everything is impermanent and nothing lasts forever. When we learn to accept this, we also learn to let go of what no longer serves us. Ultimately, mindfulness is about awakening and awareness. It is not a complex technique, but a way of learning to live simply, genuinely, and fully present. When we can live mindfully, we find that life becomes lighter, with less anxiety and stress, allowing us to face any challenge with a calm and strong mind. Meditation is one of the core practices in Buddhism, designed to help us achieve inner peace and mental tranquility. For many people, meditation may seem like a challenging practice, especially in a world that grows increasingly busy and filled with stress. However, meditation is not reserved for monks or spiritual seekers alone. It is something that anyone can integrate into their lives to enhance their well-being and overall quality of life. Meditation comes in many forms and techniques, yet they all share the same goal: to quiet the mind and bring us into the present moment. One of the most common and accessible meditation methods is mindful breathing meditation. This involves sitting still and focusing on your breath, paying close attention to each inhalation and exhalation. By doing so, we can gradually clear away the mental clutter and achieve a state of inner stillness. When you meditate, you may notice that your mind begins to wander, often drifting into thoughts about the past or worries about the future. This is entirely normal. Instead of trying to suppress these thoughts, gently guide your attention back to your breath. This process of bringing your mind back to the present is a powerful exercise in training your mind. It teaches you how to bring it back to a calm and focused state whenever it becomes agitated. However, meditation is not limited to sitting quietly. It can also be practiced during everyday activities like walking, cooking, or even washing dishes. This form of meditation is known as walking meditation, where you bring your full attention to each step and every moment. For instance, when you walk, instead of letting your mind wander with worries and plans, focus on the sensation of your feet touching the ground, the sound of the wind, or the songs of birds. This practice not only brings a sense of peace but also enhances your appreciation of the present, filling your day with energy and vitality. In Buddhism, meditation is not just a technique to attain calmness. It is a gateway to deeper understanding of the true nature of reality. Once your mind becomes still, you can start to observe your thoughts, emotions, and even preconceived notions with greater clarity. This practice, known as insight meditation or vipassana, allows you to look deeply into the nature of all things without being influenced by them. When you observe your mind without judgment, you begin to realize that many thoughts and emotions are merely temporary phenomena, like clouds passing through the sky. They come and go, but your true essence, the peace and stillness within, remains constant. To understand the benefits of meditation more practically, consider this example. A man who constantly felt overwhelmed by the pressures of his job decided to try meditation. Every day, he faced a barrage of emails, back-to-back meetings, and countless tasks that needed attention. He felt like he was drowning in a sea of never-ending work. One day, he decided to spend 10 minutes each morning in meditation, focusing solely on his breath. Initially, he struggled to quiet his mind. Thoughts of work, deadlines, and responsibilities kept flooding in. But he persisted, gently bringing his attention back to his breath each time his mind wandered. After a few weeks, he noticed a significant change. His mind became calmer, and he found himself approaching his daily tasks with a newfound sense of calm and efficiency. No longer feeling overwhelmed, he started to enjoy his work again. Meditation also helps us develop compassion and forgiveness. When we meditate, we not only observe our thoughts and emotions but also learn to accept them. This practice teaches us to be more forgiving and patient with ourselves and others. Instead of reacting negatively when others make mistakes or when we encounter difficulties, meditation allows us to respond with patience and compassion. This is an essential part of Buddhist practice, helping us cultivate healthier relationships and greater happiness. In a world where everything seems to move at an ever-accelerating pace, taking just a few minutes each day to meditate can bring a sense of peace and the strength to face life's challenges more effectively. If you are new to meditation, do not worry about doing it perfectly. What matters is that you take the time to listen to yourself, to connect with your breath, and to find moments of stillness. You can start with just 5 minutes a day and gradually increase the time as you become more comfortable. There is a famous Buddhist story that illustrates the essence of meditation. A disciple approached a Zen master and asked, "How can I attain peace?" The master simply smiled and said, "Sit down and do nothing." At first, the disciple was puzzled, thinking the master was joking. But then he realized that the master's words carried profound wisdom. We often strive to do more and achieve more to find happiness. But sometimes the answer is simply to stop, sit quietly, and listen to ourselves. Meditation teaches us that sometimes stillness and presence are the keys to discovering inner peace. Meditation also teaches us the art of letting go. As we sit in meditation, we often discover that our minds are filled with worries, desires, and regrets. Through the practice of meditation, we learn how to let go of these thoughts and not let them dominate our emotions. This is a crucial part of spiritual practice because when we can release what no longer serves us, we find freedom and tranquility in our lives. Ultimately, meditation is not just a technique for achieving tranquility. It is also a way to explore our true nature. When our minds are no longer clouded by negative thoughts and emotions, we can see the essence of who we truly are, an essence filled with peace, compassion, and wisdom. This not only brings happiness to ourselves, but also allows us to spread happiness to those around us. Meditation does not have to be something distant or difficult. It is simply about taking the time to quiet your mind and listen to yourself. And when we can do this, we find that life becomes lighter, and we are better equipped to face challenges with a calm and resilient mind. One of the core teachings of Buddhism is the concept of impermanence. Everything in this world, from material objects to emotions, is transient and constantly changing. Understanding impermanence is not just a theory but a profound lesson on how to live. It helps us let go of attachments and expectations, allowing us to find inner peace. But how do we truly understand and apply this concept to our daily lives? Let's delve deeper into this lesson. When we talk about attachment, we refer to the tendency to cling to things that we believe will bring us happiness, whether it's wealth, status, relationships, or even the expectations we set for ourselves and others. We convince ourselves that having these things will fulfill us. However, when they change or disappear, we experience feelings of loss, suffering, and even despair. Imagine you've just landed your dream job with a great salary and have made plans for the future. But after only a few months, the company faces difficulties and you lose your job. At that moment, it feels like your entire world is collapsing. You had pinned so much hope on this job, believing it would provide you with security and happiness. But life often doesn't go the way we expect. This is the lesson of impermanence. Buddhism teaches that all attachments lead to suffering, because we constantly try to control things that are beyond our control. The truth is, nothing in this world is permanent. Everything changes, whether it's our health, our relationships, or our careers. When we understand that everything is impermanent, we learn to let go This doesn't mean giving up on life, but rather, it means not letting external results dictate our happiness. In our daily lives, attachment often manifests in relationships. We tend to impose expectations on others, hoping they will behave in ways that please us. When they don't meet these expectations, we feel disappointed, angry, or even hurt. However, if we can release these expectations and accept people with all their strengths and weaknesses, we will feel lighter, and our relationships will become more harmonious. A well-known Buddhist parable illustrates this lesson. One day, a Zen master held up a glass and said to his students, "This glass is already broken." The students were puzzled because the glass was intact. The master explained, "When I use this glass, I am fully aware that one day it will break. So, while it's still whole, I cherish it, and when it breaks, I don't feel sorrow." This story teaches us that when we are aware that everything is impermanent, we can appreciate things while they last, and not be overwhelmed by grief when they are gone. Letting go of attachments also allows us to live a lighter life. Imagine carrying a backpack filled with heavy stones, worries, expectations, resentment, and disappointments. Every time you let go of one of these burdens, you feel lighter and can walk further on your journey. Buddhism teaches that letting go is not a loss but a liberation. When we release what no longer serves our inner peace, we find freedom. Compassion and gratitude are two of the highest virtues emphasized in Buddhism. These qualities not only bring benefits to others but also help us nurture peace and happiness within ourselves. By practicing compassion and gratitude, we open our hearts, live a more meaningful life, and develop positive relationships with those around us. In Buddhism, compassion is more than simply feeling sympathy for someone else's pain. It also includes the desire to help alleviate that suffering. This can start with small actions such as listening when someone needs to talk, offering timely advice, or simply giving someone a warm smile. The Buddha teaches that compassion is not about pity but about empathy, and a deep understanding that everyone carries their own burdens. When we develop compassion, we not only help others but also heal ourselves. A powerful example of compassion is found in the story of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Throughout his life, he has experienced great personal loss, especially with the occupation of his homeland, Tibet. However, instead of letting anger and hatred consume him, he chose the path of compassion, forgiving those who caused suffering to his people. The Dalai Lama emphasizes that compassion is not a sign of weakness, but a powerful force capable of transforming the world. Practicing compassion can start with small gestures in our everyday lives. When you see someone struggling, instead of just observing, ask yourself what you can do to help. This does not mean you have to solve all of their problems. It could simply mean being willing to listen or share a moment of your time. When we give without expecting anything in return, our hearts feel lighter and more at peace. Along with compassion, gratitude is another key aspect that helps us live happier lives. When we are grateful for what we have, we stop being fixated on what we lack. Gratitude teaches us to appreciate life and the relationships around us, even if it's something as simple as the warmth of the morning sun, the scent of fresh flowers, or the laughter of children. There is a famous Buddhist story that illustrates the power of gratitude. One day, while the Buddha was giving a teaching, a man came forward and offered him a bouquet of flowers. The Buddha smiled and received the gift with sincere gratitude. A disciple asked, "Master, you do not need these flowers. Why did you accept them?" The Buddha replied, "This is not just a bouquet. It represents the heart of the giver. By cherishing this act of giving, we express compassion and gratitude." This story reminds us that gratitude is not just about receiving but also about recognizing and honoring the intentions behind what we are given. Practicing gratitude can transform our perspective on life. When you feel overwhelmed by worries or a sense of lack, pause and reflect on what you already have. Try writing down at least 3 things you are grateful for each day. No matter how small they may seem, like enjoying a beautiful morning or having a good meal. This practice helps end the day on a positive note and prepares you for a peaceful sleep. Cultivating self-compassion and forgiveness is also crucial. For a calm mind, often, we are our own harshest critics, punishing ourselves for mistakes we make. Instead, learn to forgive yourself and see these mistakes as lessons for growth. Compassion is not only for others but also for yourself. When you can treat yourself with kindness, you become more resilient in facing life's challenges. Practicing compassion and gratitude not only benefits us personally but also radiates out to those around us. When you treat others with kindness and appreciation, you build trust and foster positive connections. This leads to stronger relationships and a richer life experience. Living with a compassionate and grateful heart brings joy to those you interact with and creates a positive ripple effect that enhances your overall well-being. In the end, compassion and gratitude are not lofty ideals but qualities we can cultivate and practice in our daily lives. By embracing compassion and gratitude, we not only improve our own lives but also have a positive impact on the world around us. In our modern lives, which are filled with pressure and stress, seeking inner peace is not just a desire but a necessary skill. Our minds are constantly agitated by countless factors, from work, family life, to the distractions of social media. To achieve a sense of tranquility, we need to practice specific techniques to train our minds and bring peace into our everyday lives. Here are some practical steps you can apply to embark on this journey. The first and perhaps most effective practice is to focus on mindful breathing. Your breath is a bridge that connects your body and mind, helping you easily return to the present moment. Whenever you feel stressed, take a few minutes to breathe deeply and slowly. Find a quiet place, close your eyes, and focus on each inhalation and exhalation. Whenever your mind starts to wander, gently bring it back to your breath. This simple exercise not only helps you relax but also calms your mental tension. Don't worry if you find it challenging at first. The key is to be persistent. Over time, your ability to focus and achieve inner calm will improve. Another effective practice is walking meditation, which involves meditating while walking. You can do this practice anywhere in a park, garden, or even while walking from your car to your office. As you walk, focus on each step touching the ground. Listen to the sounds around you and synchronize your breath with your steps. This helps you become more present and aware in each moment, enhancing your appreciation for life around you. Organizing your living space is also an important step in cultivating a calm mind. A tidy and orderly environment promotes mental clarity and ease. Start by decluttering unnecessary items and keep your workspace neat. Spend a few minutes each morning tidying up your desk. This simple act helps you start your day with a fresh mind and better focus. Additionally, consider adding natural elements like plants, scented candles, or essential oils to create a relaxing and pleasant atmosphere. A highly effective way to foster a calm mind is to practice daily gratitude. Gratitude helps shift your focus toward the positive aspects of life rather than dwelling on problems or setbacks. Before going to bed, spend a few minutes writing down at least 3 things you are grateful for that day. These can be small moments, like enjoying a delicious cup of coffee or receiving a kind word from a friend. Practicing gratitude helps end the day on a positive note and promotes a more restful sleep. Another important aspect of mental cultivation is to practice compassion and self-forgiveness. When we make mistakes, it is common to blame ourselves harshly and feel guilty. Instead, learn to forgive yourself and treat these mistakes as lessons for growth. Compassion is not only for others but also for yourself. When you can be kind to yourself, it becomes easier to face challenges without feeling overwhelmed. Lastly, remember that consistency is key to any practice aimed at mental training. Whether you choose to practice meditation, mindfulness, or gratitude, the most important thing is to establish a consistent routine. You can start small, dedicating just 5 to 10 minutes a day to meditation or journaling. Over time, you will notice positive changes in your mindset and in your life. In today's world, where everything seems to move at lightning speed, finding balance and inner peace is a significant challenge. Despite being thousands of years old, Buddhist teachings offer timeless wisdom that is incredibly relevant to modern life. By integrating these principles into our daily routines, we can reduce stress, alleviate anxiety, and find true fulfillment. One of the most valuable lessons Buddhism offers is living in the present moment. We often get caught up in regrets about the past or worries about the future, which not only increases our stress but also robs us of the precious moments happening right now. Buddhism teaches that true happiness does not lie in the past or the future but in this very moment. When you are fully present, you can enjoy every aspect of life, from savoring a delicious meal to listening to a child's laughter. Practicing mindfulness reduces stress and allows us to find joy in the simple, everyday things. Another important lesson is letting go of unrealistic expectations. When we place excessive expectations on ourselves or others, we set ourselves up for disappointment. By letting go of these expectations, we can live more freely, with less pressure and worry. Instead of trying to control everything, we learn to accept what happens naturally. This acceptance not only makes life lighter, but also helps us adapt to changes with more flexibility. Compassion and forgiveness are other key Buddhist teachings. By forgiving others and ourselves, we release ourselves from the prison of negative emotions such as anger, resentment, and jealousy. Forgiveness does not mean forgetting what happened but freeing ourselves from the bondage of these emotions. Compassion helps us view others with empathy, which strengthens our relationships. Buddhism also teaches us about impermanence. Understanding that everything changes helps us become less anxious and less attached to things beyond our control. Life is like a flowing river, constantly changing. When we embrace impermanence, we find peace and freedom. This does not mean giving up on life's efforts but learning to let go of what cannot be changed. Finally, mindfulness and awareness are essential skills that help us face life's challenges. Practicing mindfulness enables us to break free from the cycle of negative thoughts, anxiety, and stress. Instead, it allows us to see things clearly and make better decisions with a calm mind. These lessons from Buddhism not only help us navigate life's difficulties but also lead to lasting peace and happiness. By applying these principles, we can build a more meaningful, joyful,
and sustainable life.
Start small, and gradually, you will see the positive changes in your mind and in your life. Remember, the journey to inner peace is not a destination but a continuous process. Every day, take one small step, and over time, these steps will bring you closer to a life filled with meaning and tranquility. The path to cultivating a calm mind is not always easy, but it is one of the most rewarding journeys you can undertake. As we've explored today, the teachings of Buddhism offer profound insights into handling stress, letting go of attachments, and embracing mindfulness in our daily lives. Imagine living each day with a sense of inner peace, responding to challenges not with fear or anxiety, but with a clear and steady mind. By integrating these practices into your life, you can create a ripple effect that not only transforms your own experience but also positively impacts the people around you. Whether it's through mindful breathing, practicing gratitude, or simply letting go of what you cannot control, every small step you take is a step toward a more empowered,
fulfilling existence.
So, if you found value in this journey today, we would greatly appreciate your support. Please like this video, share it with those who could benefit, and subscribe to our channel for more content that explores the wisdom of mindfulness and the art of living well. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you won't miss our upcoming videos, where we'll continue to delve deeper into the practices that lead to a calm and powerful life. Thank you for being here, and remember, each moment is a new opportunity to cultivate a calm mind and live with greater clarity and purpose. See you in the next video.